welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm your I Hate Onions host, Madelyn.
I'm your I Hate Scarecrows host, Emma.
And thanks for tuning in to this week's show. It's 6 weeks in gaming!
Yay!
Who could believe it?
Everyone's favorite time of the 6 weeks.
Somehow it's October.
It's true.
Against all odds. Against all odds.
True.
As per usual, lately, apparently, my gaming is light. So I'm going to let Emma start with what I assume will be the Cold Steel report.
Yeah, I'll just get all of my sort of quick updates out of the way first. We can start with the Reverie report, of course. I finished everybody's Act 4. So we're going into the final act, and then I know this game has a bunch of, like, quote-unquote post-game stuff, so I'm not as close to finishing as that implies, but I got through a lot this time, so that's good. A lot of cool stuff this time. Lloyd, probably the one with the least exciting stuff going on. It's fine. Like, the arc of that has been sort of like they have sort of built themselves up, and the pressure has been put on them to be like the saviors of Crossbell, right? And so they're trying to figure out like what their actual realistic role is in like an independent Crossbell that they want, right? It's sort of this thing, but there's not a lot of dramatic stuff going on. It's a very denouement for like Lloyd's character arc, essentially. Am I using that right? I think I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, maybe the exact phrasing of that phrase I wouldn't necessarily think, but the meaning of the word.
Yeah, okay. Reen and Rufus's route, much, much more exciting. Reen is facing his other self, his nobody, his replica, you might say.
That's so crazy of you to say.
You might remember from the Cold Steel report I mentioned, they force you to get the bad ending first before you get the regular ending. And that's because it's sort of canon. Because Reen's bad ending self is somehow here now in this world. And he's kind of looks sick as hell, to be honest. There was a very cool battle that was playing like the theme song with him. It was very good. Yeah, I think I just sent Malin a message because I just finished it the other day, being like, Reen's so Riku coded.
Okay, pause for a second.
Okay.
Where's my Kingdom Hearts Tokyo Game Show stuff?
I don't know, Mel.
Where is it?
Sorry.
I just realized the other day, like, I like looked into the middle distance the other day, being like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yep, nothing for you. I just get the Reen stuff. Reen, the Reverie is filling my Kingdom Hearts niche right now, I guess. But yes, very good stuff for Reen. The Rufus stuff, they have been, journeying around trying to figure out, like, what's up with this doll Lapis. It's sort of sentient doll that has been accompanying them that's lost their memories. Because Rufus believes that she will be key to his plans and to figuring out why there's another one of him running around calling himself Supreme Leader of Crossbell, right? So we discover what it is. I actually think this concept is kind of cool. So over the course of like all the Cold Steel games, there's been like this sort of background thing of they're installing like the Orbital Net. They're creating the internet. Right? They're laying down communication wires all over the continent. There's now like high-speed communications, right? There's all these different like new advancements in technology happening. But another thing that's
also, and as we know, that could only be a bad thing. So, yeah.
Also spread all over the continent in this universe is something called spirit veins, which is essentially like the pathways of magic in the world, right? And these spirit veins were extremely heightened during the Great Twilight, which is what was happening in Cold Steel 4 when all this bad stuff was going on. And so the spread out spirit veins and the spread out communication wires sort of resonated together and essentially created a new god in the wake of the Great Twilight.
Who could have predicted?
I think it's kind of neat. And so Lapis is essentially like the administrator unit that this new god made to sort of check it with a more human point of view in terms of like the actions that it was taking and so on and so forth. But she was kicked out as administrator at some point, which is when she lost her memories, and probably is what's going on with Supreme Leader Rufus somehow, and probably what's going on with why Bad Ending Reen is here is my guess as well.
Okay.
So that's where we left off on everybody. Genuinely pretty excited to see how things wrap up. I think that like Lloyd's stuff has been fine. Reen and Rufus's stuff have been really good for this series. There was a Mishi doll that we fought and he flew into the sun and exploded, and that was great and emotional. So, you know, I'm back up on this series. It really is like, I always start low, go high, and then it's a big crash down again. Except I've heard Daybreak is good, so maybe I'll be riding this high a little longer this time.
Sounds like what someone riding the high would say.
We'll see. So that's the Reverie Report. I'm feeling good.
Do you predict finishing it in the calendar year 2025?
That's my goal.
Okay. Do you predict it, though?
That's my goal.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'm taking classes right now, and that's probably going to take up a lot of my time, but also means that, like, half of December I will have, like, nothing to do. So if I'm not done with Reverie at that point, that will be the Reverie time.
December of Reverie.
Yeah. So also very quickly, I finished Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Woo!
I don't have much more to say about that. The final dungeon was awful. Whoever made it should feel bad about themselves, I think. I was also sort of just like reflecting and thinking about, so Apocalypse uses mostly like the Hindu gods as like the more antagonistic forces in it, which like you do always kill the Christian god in Shin Megami Tensei the series. But like I was thinking like halfway through I was like, man, people worship, these are still
Yeah.
These are still like real gods.
Yeah.
I'm very curious like how like people who are of the Hindu faith like actually like perceive these sorts of things, you know?
Probably not great.
But at the same time, like everybody's killing the Christian god all the time.
Yeah, but
I mean, I know it's different, but like
I'm just punching bag.
I'm just curious.
Everybody's killing the Christian god all the time is kind of the story.
And for what it's worth, like they're the antagonistic force, but like they're not like evil, you know?
Sure.
Anyway. Just something I was thinking about as I was playing it. Because I feel like they usually use more like either like biblical stuff or like, you know, Greek gods type stuff. So it stood out to me.
Yeah, it's a change of pace.
And then my final quick update. I finished all 100 endings of the 100 line. Last Defense Academy. It's done. I did it all.
Until they release more.
My kingdom for a sliver of Kodaka's work ethic, honestly. But I do not recommend playing all 100 endings of the 100 line Last Defense Academy. I really enjoyed it, even the stuff that was bad. But my actual recommendation on like how to play this game is play through to a numbered ending once without looking anything up, and then look at the different routes that are available and like pick the ones that are interesting to you. And with that said, I'm going to read you my contextless rating of the routes so you can get a sense of how much stuff is going on in this game.
Is this just going to be you listing 100 numbers in...
No,
Okay,
there's
good. I was like, I
there's
actually don't want to hear that.
there are like 20 routes
Okay,
that have
great.
endings in them.
Great.
So, at the peak, second scenario, reset route, goodbye Ato, which are 1, 2, 3. They're all pretty much the same sort of route. They're just numbered separately because they're different. This is like the main run of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty head and shoulders above most of the other stuff in the game. Also in peak, Retsnam. What does that mean? Good question.
I'll never know.
Below that, in the I liked this, the Veshnes route, which is the enemy commander route, the first playthrough that you do, which can count as its own route, I guess. Then coming of age, casual, multiple Atos, rebellion, and comedy.
Comedy was the worst one.
No, this is still in the I liked this category.
Oh, I'm sorry. I understand. I was like, that's
it's the
end.
lowest
No, it's
in
not.
the I liked this category.
Okay.
Then we've got mixed feelings, but there is a cool polycule. Killing game.
Neat.
Mixed feelings, no thoughts on polycules. Box of Calamity, Slasher, and Ava route. Ava is the captive enemy commander that you recruit and brainwash.
As one does. That was a little too much context, to be frank, for your context list, but okay.
And mixed feelings and says polycules, no. Romance route. This one is like, you know the meme of the guy standing up?
The meme of the guy standing up?
Like, there's like this dramatic photo of like a guy standing and someone saying like a controversial opinion with it.
I'll look it up after.
Okay.
I'm sure I do.
Anyway,
but
this
it's
is
not coming.
I thought parts of this were okay in the context of the guy standing up meme. Box of Blessings and Serial Battles.
Okay.
And I didn't like this. Conspiracy and Mystery. In the I don't know where it goes, don't ask me. Cult of Takumi and SF. And that's my rating. If you say,
Not
Emma,
really
that's a lot of genres, I'll say yes.
A lot more polycules than I expected to encounter, to be honest.
The one?
Well, it was in like a third of the routes.
I just thought it was funny. It's like, I like Killing Game more because I like this like central relationship they set up. And then I think it's funny that romance does have an ending where it's like, no, you can't have a polycule in contrast to that.
Good.
So that's why it features in the ratings. But
Well,
anyway, good game. Very ambitious, wild, fun game. So I'll pass it over to you now, Mel.
Wow, that was so much already. That probably already totaled like 3 times as much gaming as I did across all of mine.
I think I did like 25 endings in the 6 weeks, so
yes, is what
pretty
you're saying.
big
Yes.
amount of
Okay, well, continuation thing for me. I played almost all of, I assumed like 90% of Deltarune Chapter 2. I really wanted to have it done for the podcast. It was just a little bit, I sort of assumed it would be the same like this Chapter 1. It's not.
No.
And I didn't leave myself enough time. / I was running around. My train commutes were not as friendly to playing Deltarune as I wish they were a couple times, which cost me. I am liking Chapter 2 with its like computer theme. It continues to be amusing, mad funny at times. The gamer stuff is mad funny. Does it get harder? Would you say?
Deltarune?
Yeah.
I would say the main story probably remains about the same difficulty. Considering that you do get like more health as you progress through each chapter.
Yeah.
If you do the secret bosses, that's where the difficulty is, I would say. If you're like, I would like to be challenged, then you have to go out of your way to do the secret bosses.
Okay, interesting. Because yeah, I am sort of feeling like I don't know how challenged I feel by this mostly. I mean, I'm not great at the bullet hell stuff in the combat, but I'm not awful at it. I did have one sort of like, I died and got sent pretty far back moment near pretty recently, actually, which probably also cost me. Although I made it back through that section in like 2 minutes, so it didn't. Ultimately, I learned. But yeah, I'm liking it. I wouldn't say that I'm like totally Toby Fox pilled at this point. I guess I should probably try to play some Undertale for next week.
Yeah.
I just can't determine if it's. I mean, Deltarune is newer, but people like this one too. I can't determine if it sort of feels like, oh, what is this doing that other games haven't done that I've played, basically. But it's, I am enjoying my playthrough. It's just not, nothing about it is like, oh yeah, this. Does that make sense? For me?
Sure, yeah. I don't know.
Like, everything about it is good. It's just not, it's not sinking its teeth into me. I didn't go, oh, I have to go straight into chapter 2 after playing chapter 1, which, to be fair, I had already played chapter 1, so that was probably a little bit of it. And I'm excited to see, well, based on what I know about the game, I'm excited to see more. I don't know that if I was playing the game, I'd be like, oh, something interesting is going to happen here. Which is probably in itself part of the point.
I think that for me, they click with me a lot because I prefer characters over narrative pretty strongly. And I think that suits the writing style of Toby Fox's games. Not that they don't have narrative, but that it's more about your investment in the characters and whether you have that or not.
I just want justice for Birdley.
For Birdley?
Yeah.
Why?
He gets this poor guy rejected by Queen. He's just doing his best.
I did give him the plushie.
Oh, that you won?
Yeah.
I gave it to Noelle. And she didn't like it. She's like, you want a refund? I was like, no. I thought we were friends. So yes, Deltarune, good. Hopefully by the next 6 weeks, I will have caught up through chapter 4. I think that I probably will have. I want I'm like waiting for there to be some little spice that really gets me. And maybe it's coming. But right now I'm sort of like, I'm having a good gaming experience. There's nothing about this that is not a good gaming experience. But there's also nothing about it that's hooking me, I guess. For me. And I'm not just saying that to be contrarian.
For context for your planning, I think chapter 3 is somewhere in between chapter 1 and 2 in length. And chapter 4 is probably about the same length, if not slightly longer than chapter 2.
Look, chapter 2 is not long. I expect it to have taken me about 5 hours.
I'm telling you for your planning.
Fortunately, this 6 weeks does not involve me being present at like 25 separate performance events. Mm-hmm. So that should help in me being able to get through game. Now, there is more TV to watch, so there's a little bit of a trade-off. However, it should not be challenging for me to devote 12 hours to finishing Deltarune. I'm saying that on the record now, so in 6 weeks when you come back and I'm like, I played half of chapter 3, everyone can laugh at me.
Okay.
So that's my Deltarune update. What if I revealed now that I was playing a kill them all route? Wouldn't that be really funny? I'm not. I'm sparing them. But what if that came out?
That would be funny. I'd be surprised if you found the like actual different route by yourself without looking it up. So.
Oh, great. Cool. All right, back over to you.
Yes. So you mentioning TV reminded me. I actually did watch season 1 of Fallout. It was fine. That's my review. It was perfectly watchable TV. Anyway. For the games I am currently playing, I just have 3 left too, so we can just trade back and forth. But the first one is I'm playing Silent Hill F. which is the latest release in the Silent Hill series, of which I've played none of them before this. It's written by the Higurashi Umineko, very famous visual novel guy. So I was interested in it. And also because it's very much like a horror about being a woman. So it's always nice to play a video game that's aware of the womanhood, I guess. So Silent Hill F is set in 1960s Japan, which is around the time there was a big like feminism movement over there. You play as Hinako, who is a high school student in the 60s. She does not get along with her parents. She's perceived as more boyish because when she was a child, she played with both girls and boys. Her best friend is a boy. She sometimes talks in a way that is more masculine, which is something slightly unique to Japanese, although you could probably say it in English too. But so, and she's struggling with, growing up and becoming an adult woman in the 60s when you were expected, to marry, and there were certain, serve your husband, right? And so she's, meeting with her friends, and suddenly the town becomes foggy and there's all these monsters around, and every time she passes out, she goes to this strange alternate temple world where a man in a fox mask is like leading her deeper inside.
As happens to all girls at a certain age,
yeah,
by the way.
Obviously. And so I finished a first playthrough, and I'm probably 3/4 of the way through a first New Game Plus playthrough. The game, you can only get one ending on your first time through, and then different endings open up to you going through it again, as well as certain things changing. And it's great. Like, I don't want to get too deep into the things that happen, but it's very much about like Hinako being on this threshold of wanting to continue being a child and being forced to grow up and have expectations of being an adult woman put upon her. And just the way that there are split desires in her on a particular decision, and the ways that manifests can be horrific and violent and, horrifying, right? So I'm really enjoying it. The first playthrough, I did not get too scared. The second playthrough, there have been a couple of points where I have had to finish the section, then I'm like, it's still early, but I'm gonna turn the game off because I'm so unsettled. There's a section in a school that, like, the first time through is pretty creepy. Second time through, genuinely had to, like, keep pausing every few minutes because it unnerved me so badly. So, there's that.
Yikes.
I've become a real horror gamer.
Yeah, you have been playing more.
What I've learned.
Your baby gamer eyes.
My baby gamer eyes have grown up now and seen the horrors. But yeah, I'm very excited to continue with the story and get the different endings. I think I have a feeling of like what each ending is sort of going to represent. But I'm excited to see if I'm wrong or if I'm right and how those sort of manifest themselves differently as well. So I will have more to report on Silent Hill F going forward. But right now, gives a big thumbs up for me. Big thumbs up and a big
Good. Okay, well, on the subject of games that are, like, in certain ways about womanhood, I did, just a few hours off of my finish a game in September goal, I played Consume Me.
Oh, that's on my list to get to.
A game on my laptop.
Wow.
Against all odds.
It plays on your Mac?
It does play on my Mac.
Magical.
Yes. So Consume Me, if you haven't heard of it, it's a new game that came out just a couple days ago, which I'm counting as my September finish, that is sort of, I would describe it as like Persona 5 free time, but like about diet culture, basically. So you play as Jenny, who's throughout the game is eventually a high school senior and then college student, who is navigating being a high school senior and college student, and like what that means for her relationship with her body and also her relationships with her family and eventually her boyfriend and friends, and like also being overwhelmed and having only a certain amount of time. Anyway, unsurprisingly, this game was like pretty personally resonant for me, as someone who was a high school senior and college student.
What?
Yeah, I know, crazy. It was personally resonant. I have to do caveat that like Jenny like is struggling to pass her classes, which was not personally resonant for me.
Sure.
But the idea of it being like, oh, I have a certain number of blocks of free time and I have to figure out a way to squeeze everything into them that I need to do, did feel familiar, along with kind of like many of the kind of diet culture themes of the game. And the way that sort of manifests, right? And I think it's really a smart content warning that they put at the beginning of the game. They're like, this is a game about dieting. This is not a guide of how to lose weight. We don't use calories. We use bites because we don't want it to be like real triggering to anyone. It's sort of like a central gameplay element of the game is each time you eat, it's sort of like food Tetris kind of. Mm-hmm. Or food, you're like covering certain blocks with certain food amounts that correspond to a certain number of bites. You're trying to keep it under a certain amount of bites, basically. And so they do a nice little content warning at the beginning. It's like, like Jenny like sees some rewards for this in her life at the beginning, but like we don't mean to say this is good, right? Like eventually it's not good. So I won't spoil it too much for Emma if you're gonna play it. But I found one, this really did like scratch the like good Persona 5 free time itch for me. It was like, ooh, yes, time management, yes. Numbers go up. Like good. I will be good at this. Which I will say, I did manage to get like a high grade at the end. Spoiler, you get kind of graded at the end for your performance in the game, right? And I got a very high grade with only the lightest of save scumming for book progress, which I really only did it like twice in the game. I mean, I scummed more than one time to get the result that I wanted, okay. But not like throughout. It's just like, oh, I wanted to get it this one time. I'm like so close. So like that's a note, I guess, right? That I like was able to play through it. But also I've played games that are like this before. Mm-hmm. And also this is functionally how my brain works. Mm-hmm. So it was not hard for me to be like, ooh, how will I make the time work? The blocks of time. Like, that's just what I'm doing all the time. We talked about with, oh God, what's the soccer game called?
Despelote.
We talked about on that episode that like auto bio games are not as common in gaming as in other media, with the exception of all dad games being like light auto bio games yeah. in their own way. Yeah. But this is another autobiography game, which is I probably should have realized it in playing it. I should have noticed it having like read about it a little bit, but I didn't. And like there is a little bit of a reveal of that at the end of the game. In ways that are light spoilers, I guess, not totally dissimilar from how it's handled in Despolete. Mm-hmm. That was like surprising and affecting, and I found portions of the end of the game like kind of emotional. Not that like they were so emotional in what they were, just in like thinking about my own life, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I found it to be really effective. It's like about a 7 or 8 hour game. To be fair, I was kind of binging through it. So it might take you, listener, a little bit longer if you weren't like racing to finish it. Because I was sort of like, I'm going to finish this for September. I'm going to finish this for the podcast. Which is a healthy way to play games, I'm sure. But yes, overall, I found it pretty touching. It did not exactly go where I expected it to go. And I don't mean that in a dramatic way. I just mean like even the content warning kind of primed me for it to go in a specific direction that it only sort of did. Mm-hmm. But overall, I found it really fun and like it told an interesting story and had like a little bit of an emotionally affecting punch at the end. And I liked that I won't spoil. I'll be interested if you play it to hear your thoughts, Emma. But I really liked it. Yeah, one of my favorite things I've played this year, I think. If only it could have been on the PlayStation. I'm just kidding. It was totally fine on my laptop. There's nothing wrong with it being on my laptop. This is a game that was it's just a click game for the most part. It's yeah.
Well, I've got my Steam Deck, so.
Oh, yes. Emma and her Steam Deck. Come on, her little Steam Deck. This game came out right before the Steam Autumn Sale, by the way, which I have to call out from that episode is a bad idea.
Yeah. The other big September game that I haven't played yet but want to is
Silksong. Hades 2.
The walking, what's it? I can't remember what it's called now. The walking one, the Bed at Foddy one.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember. The one he postponed, though. Yeah.
Baby Steps.
Baby Steps. Another baby game.
I think we should play that next time you're here. I think
Great.
That'd be fun to pass off.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Anyway, I started Hades 2. You're right. I started Hades 2.
I saw that. You were playing it when I was on the Nintendo Switch.
Yes. I am playing it on my Nintendo Switch. I kind of feel a little mixed about Hades 2.
The reviews are that way. I mean, they're not, but they are.
It's still fun. I'm having a fun time with it. I like Malinoi. The base of it is just as solid and fun as Hades was. I put Hades as, I don't really know where I put it in Bastion, but they are both below like Transistor and Pyre for me.
Well, and you love a sports game.
This will probably also be around there. I don't know if it'll be above or below the original Hades for me, but I can't see it going above and beyond what it is now. But it does kind of feel like they took the Hades base, which already had a bunch of stuff going on, and was like, here's more stuff. Right? Which on paper makes sense for a sequel, but in practice, I find it kind of overwhelming. I had like almost all the weapons unlocked within like less than 10 runs, which I feel like it took a lot longer in the original Hades.
Yeah, it did.
And I'm already like got like the different aspects you can change your weapons to. There are so many of them, right? You collect all these different like resources now to cast spells, which like makes sense because Malinoi is like a witch. There's witch theming, so like her collecting ingredients and stuff is like cute, but also it's very hard to keep track of like what things I'm saving for certain spells or for certain weapons or for certain other things that you can upgrade, right? The bosses are bigger. Some of the arenas are so big you can completely lose track of where the boss is. They do a ton of damage. I haven't played the first Hades in a while, so maybe some of it was like this in the early game and I'm just not remembering. But I do
think it was.
It feels extremely punishing when you make a mistake. And like that it's like exhausting kind of in a way I don't really remember the first Hades being. And it kind of makes sense, right? Like Zagreus' story was, for being about gods, pretty small scale. Right? It was a family story, right? And what Malinoi is doing is like, no, they're at war, right? She is trying to kill Kronos. all of Olympus is like fighting a war. They've got their weapons, right? Like this is serious business. This is not like a family spat. So like in some ways it makes sense, right? It should be harder, I guess. But it also makes me really curious how they're going to like status quo it at the end. Because like, you know, essentially for Zagreus, he made his hobby into his job, which like you can critique that theming probably if you want, but at least makes like logical sense, right? Like he found his passion and was able to make it into like a lifestyle for himself, right? In this, it's like, how on earth do you make it so you do infinite runs at the end of the story in a way that's at all satisfying? I cannot picture it. It feels like it would be antithetical to some of the themes it's trying to set up, right? Like, Malinois is essentially fighting for a return to the status quo, and a lot of her enemies are pointing out to her, like, is that really what you want? Right? Like, Kronos has like captured the fates and like she's like trying to get them back, and like Kronos is like, why do you want them back? You have free will for the first time. Everybody has free will for the first time in their lives, right? And I think that's a valid question, and I don't know how on earth the game is going to address it when the inevitable end game is like she continues doing this forever, right?
I mean, some thoughts as someone who watched like 100 hours of Hades but didn't actually play any. One, difficult position to be in, right? You kind of have to, if you're making Hades 2, just make it bigger and harder.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, I say this also, and I've had like 3 runs where I've been insanely overpowered and just absolutely massacred the final boss. So, with that context as well.
Sure. So there's that. It's a difficult position to put yourself in, especially as a company that doesn't make sequels, but particularly how often are there sequels to roguelikes, right? Or like true sequels. Not very often. And really probably for this reason, because people get better at them over time, and it is both hard to reset them to nothing and hard to not have it not just be like, well, I already do this. So that's a difficult position to be in. 2, it's not really like they could have made anything but Hades 2 after that game, is it? I mean, I know they could have. I know they didn't make any sequels. That game just must have made so much money, and the opportunity with Hades 2 to make so much money is difficult to imagine.
I'm perfectly fine with them having made Hades 2. I do not want them to make a Hades 3.
I'm saying many things. I'm a little disappointed by it. I mean, I'm not disappointed by it. I get it, but it's a little disappointing. It's a little bit like Pixar making Toy Story 4.
I don't think it's quite like that. But
sorry, that's too far. But you know what I mean. It's a little bit like, oh,
if they make Hades 3, I will allow that comparison.
Sure, fair, okay. So I think it's tricky. I hope that they're banking the money to make something really weird.
Yeah.
That is what I hope. But I also think I do wonder. Because the pop culture has decided that Hades is fine. Like the god, not the game.
Yeah. That is also something that's very interesting about this, I think.
Yeah. So this obviously is a very different context, but I think if we existed in a pop culture where Hades, the god, had not already been like rehabilitated to be misunderstood and, mythomania or... what is the webcomic?
Lore of Olympus. Yeah.
I think he's a good guy in that. He's like the romantic lead, right?
Yes. Maybe. I think Persephone is the main character, so.
Sure. So all this to say, I do think that game also gave itself like a softer landing in that like we kind of expected Hades was going to be an okay guy in the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, which helped with the stakes setting. Yeah, it does feel interesting to think about they'll figure out some way for it to be infinite runs. But yeah, thinking about that, I was like, well, if I didn't know that we'd already kind of as a culture decided that maybe Hades was okay, would I have thought that was a path for this? I don't know. Hard to know.
But yeah,
these are less familiar characters. I mean, not that Zagreus is familiar, but everyone else is.
Sure. It's like, this game feels almost like I didn't do the post game of the original Hades, so I don't really know how the like bringing Hades and the Olympians back together like really ended up really in that game. I know that's what the epilogue is like about. But this game very much feels like, Madelyn loves her family, right? Like she's very dutiful in comparison to Zagreus, which I do think is an interesting character trait. And also like you could maybe say some interesting things about gender in that also.
Mm-hmm.
But like she very much likes them. They're very likable. She's fighting for them to have their rule back, right? And when you have your enemies asking like, is that good? Like, do we want the gods to stay in power forever, right? And so it's just like a question of like, is it gonna say, yeah, they're sick, they're cool as hell, right? And it's like, I don't know if that's a satisfying answer for me. But anyway, I'm having fun. The gimmick of this is you can go both down and up, so there's 2 different types of runs that you can do. I've cleared down 3 times. I've cleared once, up once. I got the final boss of that first try while Cersei had curse blessed me to be tiny. So
sure.
extremely funny way to do the first run for that. Everything, her model is shrunk and her portrait is shrunk, and they put an effect on her voice so it's slightly higher. It's extremely good. Also just the third surface boss, the map theme and then the boss theme leading up to that is probably one of my favorite musical tracks that Supergiant has put out. So there's that too. There's still a lot to like about it, right? Like it is more Hades. And there's a whole bunch of characters, oh my god, to meet and talk to. So there's that too, right? Like there's a lot going on in this. So I can't say I'm disliking it. It's just like I'm not sure it's really going to do anything interesting by the end.
I will probably play it eventually. All right, my final game slot. First of all, I feel compelled to report, because I know everyone is waiting for my thoughts. The RGG Direct was disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about Yakuza 3 Kiwami.
Sure.
I've played Yakuza 3. I think everyone should have to get... I think that's the price you pay. Yakuza 3. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure if I want to play Kiwami 3.
You gonna play Dark Ties?
Spoiler, Mine dies, so like...
So?
I don't know.
We can make prequels about characters that die.
I know, but I am interested in the ongoing lore of this story.
Sure. Okay.
I would like to know what happens next. I would like Kiryu and Haruka to talk. I'd like to find out like what's gonna happen with like Ichiban's protecting of all the little former Yakuza boys. Is Majima gonna be okay? Like, I don't know. I am interested in what happens next.
Sure.
I am not so interested in the lore of a, like, I don't know, like fan fiction side character favorite who dies in that one game.
Sure.
To be honest. Like, maybe let him and Daigo kiss, I guess. I'll be interested if they do that. But, like, I don't know. Maybe I'll play it. I still have Ishin. I still have a bunch of the side games to play. I'm more interested in playing those first. But I'm disappointed that they didn't even tease anything else. I know they have the other big game coming out. I understand that. But I really felt like I deserved a teaser for Yakuza 9.
Yeah.
And hopefully, maybe it'll come out next fall.
I have no idea.
Probably not, though.
I'm really curious, just from an outside point of view, because they are dubbing Kiwami 3.
Yeah.
Like, are they somehow going to go back and add dubs to 1 and 2 Kiwami?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because right now it's in a weird... You can go, like, if you want to play English, you can play Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Kiwami 3, 7.
Yeah.
You can, like, take perfect leaps through the series if you want to.
Like, are they doing Kiwami 3 because something about it is going to come back and be thematically relevant?
Well,
the kids, I guess.
All those characters that die in it are alive now, right? So...
Yeah, but, like, not really. You're right. That's dumb. That's really dumb, but you're right. I hope what it means is that the kids are going to be an important part of 9. But it's not. It's just that everybody's sick of blocky, mean. And that's why they're doing it. Actually, honestly, what it really means is that Okinawa is going to be an important part of 9, and they were like, oh, we need the map
true.
Anyway.
That could be it.
That's my actual big theory, is that something is set in Okinawa, and they were like, might as well do 3 while we're at it.
Yeah.
Daigo looks old. That's actually my final thought. They are using old Daigo Dojima model here. He should not look that old in Yakuza 3. He is still like he's like a teen. I don't know why he looks so weathered. Go look at it. You'll see. Also, bring back old Rakia.
Yeah.
He does not look goofy in the right way anymore. Alright, those are my thoughts on the RGG Direct. Also, my thoughts on the RGG Direct is they need to get translators who speak Japanese.
I just think that live translation is a bad idea for these things.
Sure, that's okay. There have to be some people who are capable of doing a better job than the male translator on that stream.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know how bad it was. But
there was just like...
I've never seen a live translation that's like been easy to watch. So.
There's just been long periods of silence. One time there was a long period of silence followed by him saying something, and I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, that doesn't feel right. So it doesn't have to be great. It just sort of felt like, oh... This one guy has lied his way. This is Kiryu translating English.
He's doing his sub-story right now.
Yeah, exactly. do. Yeah. But the last game that I played was more UFO 50. Why do I keep subjecting myself to onion delivery, Emma?
I don't know, man.
I feel like someday I will get past day 1.
You could look up some tips or something.
Drive good.
Good, yeah.
I played the party planning game for the first time that everybody loves. It is fun. I liked it. Unfortunately, it took me 2/3 of the way through my run to realize there was like a goal I was working towards, by which point it was too late.
Yeah.
I tried. So I will enjoy going back and playing it again, understanding that I am working towards something and not just like vibing, throwing parties. I was like, oh, I'm like racking up money. I'm like, ha ha ha, I'm expanding the house. And only eventually did I realize, oh no, I need 8 aliens.
Yeah.
And then it was too late. I kept buying dumb characters with the money instead of aliens. I didn't know. But I also played ping golf for the first time. Ping golf, also fun. I was really bad at it. Ended up like 35 over par. The robot characters were like 10 over par. But that's okay. Live and learn. So I have tons of games I haven't played. I will probably continue to play some more UFO 50. I need to like make some progress in Deltarune, and then UFO 50 can really be like my Switch game, unless I do Hades 2, in which case, ruh-roh, it's all out the window. But it's good. I'm so glad it's on Switch. I'm enjoying playing it, even if some of the like old style weird games feel intentionally bad. But that, even though Onion Delivery is the devil's gift. So that's what I've got. That's my 6 weeks in gaming.
You didn't play any Clair Obscur?
No, I mean, I was thinking about this. Maybe I played a little bit of Clair Obscur toward the beginning of the 6 weeks. The 6 weeks is kind of a blur. I just like haven't been home.
Yeah, I get it. I was just curious.
Notably, no PlayStation on this list. And Clair Obscur, unfortunately, feels like a game I need to be able to sit down and play for an hour.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as someone in my 30s, I have become someone who's like, when I have to sit down and play for an hour.
Yeah.
To be fair, I played like a couple hours at a stretch of Consume Me, so like it's possible. But yeah, Clair Obscur, I am still playing it. I have not given up on it. I was enjoying it. I do think maybe I played some of it at the beginning, but I don't have like new thoughts to share.
Fair enough.
On it. I got really lost at one point. That's my new thought to share.
All right, my last game, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Woot woot.
The Ivalice Chronicles. They have
I made Emma identify a game that a man was playing on the subway for me, by the way, and she was like, maybe it's Final Fantasy Tactics.
I don't think it was Tactics. I think it was one of the Pixel remasters.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
It was definitely a
My
turn-based
mistake.
game.
That's why I couldn't identify it.
Yeah. I'm very excited to be able to play this. It's very well regarded among people who like tactics games and people who like Final Fantasy and people who like video games, I guess. I don't know. And I just finished chapter 1, which is essentially like a prologue, basically. And so far, very much living up to everything that I've heard about it. I'm having a really great time with it. So the voice acting, there's voice acting for this release. It has not had voice acting, at least not for the full game before this. It's really, really good. Regularly, both because of like the line as it is written and the delivery, I just have to stop after a line is delivered and go, damn. You know?
Yeah.
So there's a character like Argath, who you rescue near the beginning of chapter 1, who is like, a noble knight character. And a lot of what you're doing in chapter 1 is like putting down a rebellion in your land from the peasantry who have felt abandoned after the end of a war, where, they came home and everything was destroyed and they didn't even get paid for their service and so on. Right? So there's a big argument between the leader of the peasant, the leader of the peasant rebellion that you're following around, and Argath. And I can't remember her name. They have wild names in this game. So it starts with an M. So she's saying like, all men are equal under God, right? And Argath's response is like, yeah, men, not chattel. And I had to go, whoa. And he has so many lines like this. The most vile, atrocious stuff I should say you've ever heard in fiction. I'm thinking reality, you've probably heard more vile and atrocious stuff at this point. But he delivers them with poetry, man.
Good stuff.
And his voice actor is like killing it. You hate this guy by the end of chapter 1. Right?
Incredible.
Like, you've saved this guy at the beginning and you've fully, like, emotionally turned on him by the end of it. Because he's so awful in every way.
Powerful stuff.
But yeah, you play as Ramza, who is the bastard son of House Baelv, who's striving to become a knight. And your best friend, Delita, is lowborn, but your father, like, forced the academy to let him try to become a knight too. So there's this peasant rebellion going on. You're putting it down. Delita obviously has conflicted feelings about this. Ramza starts to have conflicted feelings about this. Delita's sister is kidnapped, and on orders of Ramza's brother, Argath kills her at the end in order to kill the peasants holding her hostage as well. So Ramza decides to leave his house and become like a mercenary, and that seems to be where the story like really begins. But it covers a lot of ground in this chapter 1 prologue to like set everything up, both like thematically and for each of the characters as well. And yeah, it's just really cool and great. I did hit several difficulty walls in chapter 1 that I fixed by realizing there was like an entire mechanic that I didn't realize was there.
Oh.
It's like,
whoops.
oh, you can change jobs. Okay. So I can have
Nice.
like a mage and an archer. Cool. And then it was like, oh, you can unlock abilities for these jobs so that they are better. Oh, okay. I get it. And then I was like, oh, you have to then equip abilities on the character so that they use them.
Well,
you can
I'm glad
include
you're
you can
learning.
equip like a secondary job to these characters so that they can have access to other skills that they've learned. And once I got there, I just had my mage cast Fyra and absolutely kill everything in my path, and I won.
I'm glad you figured this out now and not in like chapter 6.
That's so true. But yes, I am very invested already. It's very pretty. I know there was some discourse about like the way they've handled the pixel art, and I think that in practice it looks better than it did in trailers. Like it looks very pretty to me, while still feeling, very faithful to itself. As I said, the voice acting's great. The music is great. It's sort of sometimes a little bit hard to see what you're doing, but it's pretty easy to back out if you accidentally select the wrong space or whatever. So you just have to remember that you can turn the camera so that you can see better. But anyway, I'll have more to report on Final Fantasy Tactics next time. Just happy that I can play it now because I am excited to experience it, I guess.
Well, listeners, that's been our 6 weeks in gaming. Thanks for listening to another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
Are you excited to experience Final Fantasy Tactics? What do you think about Hades 2? Can you believe neither of us played Silksong? I can. Maybe eventually.
I haven't even played the original Hollow Knight, so...
Are we even really gamers?
Yeah.
Do you think there should be more games about womanhood? If you have thoughts about this or anything else we talked about this week, hit us up on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Talk This Podcast. You can also visit our website, www.talkthispodcast.com, where you can read all about the show, check out the games in the hat, and read our blog. But most importantly, if you enjoy the show, you ought to subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts, online and on the app, Overcast, Pocket Casts, wherever you can find podcasts. Go ahead and subscribe to Talk This so you never miss an episode on Sundays at noon. Next week, we're talking about Undertale and
Lost Soul Aside.
And then it'll be my side quest again. I feel like I had a good idea for one, and every time I'm like, I had a good idea for one last time, and I didn't do it.
You gotta have a little notebook or something, man.
I did keep one for a while, and then I forgot about it. So look forward to next week, and look forward to whatever I decide we're talking about in 2 weeks. That's it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. Emma, sign us off.
This week, I hope that you drive good, old onion.